Just this past Sunday, we kind of crossed the midpoint of our Lenten season. So, how is your Lent going so far? I think it's good to look at it as a collective thing, to see how we're doing together, but also to think about it personally. Like, where am I growing during this Lent, or where have I not grown? And maybe what were my hopes, and have those kind of come to fruition? Or do I see progress there, or am I seeing nothing at all? I know that for many of us, it can feel like nothing's happening. I don't feel like I'm growing spiritually. I don't feel like what I'm doing or is helping me, or I'm having a hard time sticking to what I'm supposed to be doing. And for a lot of us, that can be the reality. But I think that there's something there, and the reasoning why is oftentimes it's because that we want to control it for ourselves. We want to say, this is what I'm going to do, and then this is what I'm supposed to get from this. And that's not really the way that God works. We don't get to choose the graces that He gives us. We can open ourselves to them, but He wants to give what He wants to give, and oftentimes most of the time, the gifts that He wants to give us are greater than the ones that we could imagine for ourselves. A lot of times we're like, I'll just take this, Lord. I'll just take this little thing. Just make me a little bit better at prayer. Or just make me a little bit more loving with my family. Oh, God wants to give you a lot more than that. So today we hear in the Gospel of Jesus meeting the man by the pool of Bethesda. The man who has been there for years and he can't walk, and he wants to somehow get into the waters so when they're stirred up that he might be healed from that. This is some sort of a belief in a pagan god that's going on with this. Now, the man is of Jewish origin, but he is desperate for healing. And so Jesus asks him, do you want to be well? And the man kind of just says the reasons why he can't be well. So that's not what Jesus asked him. He says, do you want to be well? The man has tried to, in a sense, he's decided how this is going to happen. He hasn't really given that over to God. He just says, okay, this is the way I'm going to have to be well. And a lot of times in our own desperation, that's what we do. We try to find the way to fix things ourselves by our own human initiative, because maybe in one part of our heart or another, we don't know that God's really going to do something for us. We won't really put it into His hands. Oh, but God wants to do that and so much more. The first reading is from the book of the prophet Ezekiel, and it describes this famous image of water flowing out of the temple, and that it's just a trickle when it begins, but it grows to be ankle deep, knee deep, and to the point that the prophet can't even wade through it anymore, that it would take him as a stream. It's a great image for us in the grace of God. He's inviting us always further and further into His divine life, into the point that it's not us who are working, but it's Him. It's Him who is taking us in the current of His grace to experience great things and to do great things, to help water the hearts of others, to be the gift of God to other people. And He does that through His own ways. So let's, as we continue this Lenten season, as we go into the second part of it, take heart and ask the Lord to show you how He wants to bring growth, how He wants to bring healing, transformation to your heart. Because He will do it, and you only have to ask.